Champions Cup, folks. Leinster and Racing 92. 36-10. It's probably how I expected this one to go. In terms of being a relatively decent, pretty big bonus point win for Leinster. But the manner it went that way was maybe a little bit different. We are going to go through some key events and stats and whatnot. But yeah, I wasn't sure what game to watch this morning, New Zealand time. This game was on at 4:15, so I did not watch it live. But having seen the lineups, I figured it might be a tasty one. So I opted to watch this one delayed rather than some of the later games live. And I'm pretty happy I did, because there was some absolute magic, some helter-skelter, some head-in-your-hand stuff. It had a wee bit of everything. Helter-skelter start, for sure. Really all over the place. Racing under a fair bit of pressure. And Leinster looked to be hungry. You know, they wanted to get on the board early. They had a tap and go from a penalty on about 3 minutes. But they ended up knocking the thing on. So Racing were able to kind of escape that first Leinster onslaught, which I think is important, because if you go into Dublin and go behind, I mean, it's hard enough to go there without, conceding an early lead. So Racing were able to hold on. They had their first chance down Leinster's end on the back of a couple of penalties, but ended up giving away a penalty of their own. So nothing really doing kind of for the first 10 minutes. I mean, Gibson Park looked like he might have knocked a really nice 50-22, but it had been carried back into their own half. So, neither side really are that able to get on top. But once it got into a wee bit of a kicking duel, Leinster's class, with those back three guys, started to shine. It was the winger for Racing who put in a bit of a stinker of a kick. I forget who it was, but it really gave Leinster a fantastic chance with some good field position. They had a line out. And boy, did they make you pay if you muck that kind of kicking duel up. So line out for Leinster. And they spin the ball wide. I mean, Ross Byrne puts Ringrose, who was in phenomenal form, puts Ringrose into a bit of space. And Ringrose is able to set up Jimmy O'Brien for the first try. So it's 7 points to 0. And like I said, you don't really want to be going behind. But to Racing's credit, they kind of upped it a gear after going behind, which is pleasing, because I've been having kind of bad luck in some of the Champions Cup games I've been picking to watch where they've been blowouts. I mean, this one, as I said, kind of blows out towards the end, but not initially. It had a few twists and turns to go. 22 minutes, Finn Russell to Wade. Looked like to be maybe Racing's best chance thus far. And it did lead to, because they had a penalty, for Racing, it did lead to like an attacking line-out for the Racing guys, but then James Ryan was able to steal it. So Racing couldn't quite convert any of their chances, but they did kind of get one gifted to them. Ross Byrne, I think mostly had a pretty good game, put in one absolute stinker of a cross kick from his own 22. It was meant for Lama out on the right wing, but it wasn't really on, and the kick was way too shallow. It went straight down Fiku's throat. And then Lama, who's suddenly faced with a couple of Racing guys in front of him, ends up sticking a mitt out and getting yellow carded for a deliberate knock on. Being put in a pretty awful situation by Ross Byrne's kick. So that gives Racing some prime real estate. They got a man extra. So they put it up to the forwards, which was an interesting choice because Leinster have still got all their forwards on the field. And sure enough, Leinster's maul stops Racing. But from the resulting scrum, Racing are able to win a penalty. So a little bit of a back and forth. All kinds of Racing 92 pressure. And finally, on the third attempt at a maul, that it pays off. So Tarek goes over on 32 minutes. They missed the conversion, but they're able to get 5 points on the board. It's during the yellow card, although, as I said, I don't think the yellow card was really a factor because it was Lama that was missing. That the maul working was more forwards against forwards. So 7 points to 5. Leinster had one last chance before the yellow card was over to set up a line-out of their own, but Doris gets himself in an offside position, so there's a bit of obstruction from the Leinster line-out, which is a pretty soft one to concede. So Leinster, I don't think, have been, kind of all guns blazing, and Racing did pretty well to shift some of the momentum back after conceding that first try. So 7-5, I mean, Yakane's gone off injured, but 7-5 is properly kind of game on stuff, which is pleasing for me. Sitting there not knowing the result. Start of the second half, Racing 92 missed a penalty. The kicking conditions must have been tougher than they looked. They didn't look that tough on camera, but both Byrne and, both the Burns and Finn Russell missed a fair few kicks in this game. So yeah, they missed that kick, but it doesn't matter because Russell sets up a try a bit later, and it's proper magic. I was thinking, man, that's the best try. Yeah, probably going to be the best try of the game. I don't think it is, because there's some more magic later on. But Russell, he spots a bit of a mismatch where he goes between two of the Leinster forwards. I forget which two it was, but he made them look kind of silly, when the number 10 just dinks through a couple of the big men. He did that, and then he points to where he wants to pass it, and Christian Wade is there, so he puts that wide pass in. And it's a magic try, man. So Racing, believe it or not, looking at that scoreboard, Racing are in front on about 50 minutes. It's 10 points to 7. Another misconversion hit the post again. So yeah, man, 10 points to 7. I'm wondering this could be a crazy finish. Well, it's crazy, but not crazy for Racing. 52 minutes, Leinster, a bit of magic in return, man. Ross Byrne gets through a little gap of his own. Gets it to Sheehan, who's come off the bench and is looking just for some meters, doesn't he? That guy just wants to carry all day long. So he goes bloody close and is able to get the ball because he's going to go into touch. He gets it away to Keenan before he goes into touch. So Keenan's able to dot over for the try there. The check that the pass wasn't forward and it was all good. Misconversion again, but it's 12-10. And 12-10 is still a close game, but not for much longer. 64 minutes, Leinster opt for the corner, not for 3 points, and it pays off. Because they set a kind of sneaky wee line-out move where they don't even jump. And they just set kind of a little pod at the front and drive Josh van der Fleer over. So now it's starting to look pretty hairy. 17-10, another misconversion. Leinster starts to run away with it a few minutes later. Defensive pressure causes Racing errors. And then Byrne is able to put Jimmy O'Brien into a gap, who's able to get it to Keenan. 24-10, and then 72 minutes is maybe the try of the game because it's just unbelievable when I think it's Ross Byrne puts a pass and the pass hits the grass. It's not the best pass, that rhymes, and Ringrose, while he's running, just hacks the thing through, chases after it full tilt, grabs it without even having time to think about it, and passes it to Jimmy O'Brien, who I don't even think he can see, but he must know he's there. And it's 29-10. That's amazing. Yeah. There was some pretty good tries in this game. They go for one more, Leinster. I don't know why, because they've already got the bonus point, but I guess they were a bit annoyed that Racing dared to take the lead over in Dublin because they wanted to punish them. They went for the jugular. Conan got the ball to Byrne. That's Ross. And then he basketball passed it to Ringrose, who went over in the corner. He gets man of the match. He sets up a couple of tries. He gets a try of his own as a bit of icing on the cake. He looked to hurt himself, but then he kind of walked it off. So hopefully it was just a stinger with the Six Nations just around the corner. But yeah, man, that's a bit of a hiding in the end, isn't it? When Leinster up it a gear, they can really, really cause some havoc. So yep. Ends up being a bit of a hiding, but it was a good watch. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't know the result. That's the kind of result that if you knew it, when you see Racing go ahead, you wouldn't be on the edge of your seat. But it was, it was good stuff to see how Leinster handled the pressure and to see Racing actually make Leinster sweat for a little bit. Possession finishes 59-41 to Leinster, territory 57-43, run meters 555 to 245, so Leinster dominate that. 37 defenders beaten to 15, 11 clean breaks to 2, so Leinster just too good in the end. Neither side's tackling percentage is very good though. Leinster at 82, that's low, man, for Leinster. 77 for Racing is genuinely quite bad. Like most sides, 85 or more. Jimmy O'Brien, 100 metres, 8 defenders beaten, 4 clean breaks, on fire. Ross Byrne, 5 defenders beaten and a try assist, despite that cross kick of his. Finn Russell, 61 metres, a clean break, 4 defenders beaten. Try assist for him? No, he didn't get a try assist. But he did get a try assist, so he was pretty sharp, wasn't he? Ringrose, 2 clean breaks, gets man of the match. Try assist of his own. Fiku, one of the top tacklers with 17. But yeah, man. Crazy game. So many lineouts. 19 from 19 Leinster and 23 of 26 for Racing. It's a lot of lineout ball. Penalty count also pretty high, 15-13. So Leinster, if they're going to look at one thing back, will be not happy, especially with the first half when they conceded like 9. Yeah, it was a lot of penalties in that first half. But there you go. Kind of expected Leinster win, but the manner of it maybe wasn't according to the script. But still, Just too good thus far. You guys let us know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.